Welcome to Real Life Without Excuses. I am America's Supermom.
Yeah, I love how we had our own fall festival. Whenever, that was just too funny. That was fun.
Recognize who you are, what you'd like to see in your life, and who you'd like to partner with.
I love that. And, that's coming from a place of power.
She makes. I have written with women who have been through things I could not even imagine. You can tell the old story. Don't dwell on the old story because most of your friends are not trauma counselors.
Hey, everybody. So glad that you could join us again for another episode of Bold Voices. So I am so excited to be here today. Today's conversation is around abundance. And I think that is a great topic because right now in the industry, we got a lot going on or in society about lack and, the value of the dollar if you're in the United States and just so many things that can have us in a scarcity mindset. So I think this is a great topic, and I'm excited to talk about it. So I am LaChelle, also known as America's Supermom, and I'm excited to be here. I am the mother of 15 children, and I think I know a little bit about abundance because I'm like, I don't know how we're going to feed all these kids. Okay, so we got to think about abundance with feeding them, but I'm excited to be here with my co-host and dive into today's topic. So, Mistilei, over to you.
Hi, Mistilei, Campground TBD Publishing. I'm an author, publisher, compiler, and basically frolicking in nature most of the time, putting together our space for retreats. I am all about abundance and creating it and wrapping myself in ways to protect it. And that now what, like the book you and I, the three of us were just in, making sure that once you get the abundance, now what, you hang on to it. So I'm looking forward to the people who are going to come in today and give us their input on this, my favorite topic.
Love that. All right. And we're over to you, Raschell.
Yeah, hi. So my name is Raschell Harlingten. I am the founder of Roots for Success, an author, and a podcaster, the Transformational Soul Talks, where I get to share so much with people on their stories, their transformations, and making those changes in the world and supporting humanity. I'm really excited about today's topic. Abundance is something I love as much as I'm sure you two do as well, because abundance comes in all different ways. It's not a lot of times people think it's, food or it's money, but abundance comes in so many different ways. So very excited to dive in.
I'm excited too. So we're going to go ahead and add our guests onto the screen because, an hour is just not enough time for us to dive into a lot of these conversations. And as I was telling them before we hit live, is that this is an opportunity for us to kind of whet everybody's appetite, so to speak, about the conversation. This is really an opportunity for us to reach out, make those connections, talk about these topics on other platforms. I know Leslie has a platform on LinkedIn in the audio room, and she does a lot of different conversations around various topics. That's how she and I got connected. So I think the first thing that we can all kind of want to hear everybody's insight about is, what is your definition of abundance? Because as Raschell said, it can be related to so many different things. So Leslie, since, we were talking about your room and what you do, let's start with you. What is your definition of abundance?
Wow, that's a loaded question. Good morning or good afternoon, everybody, or wherever you are in the world. Abundance, for me, is developing and maintaining a wealth mindset. That is to develop and create beliefs that are a very high vibration. And that has to do with gratitude, generosity, kindness, love. So a wealth mindset has to be created. An abundant mindset is not the default. The default is lack or poverty, one of the 6 basic fears. So abundance is a mindset, and it is a muscle that can be developed in direct proportion to its use, which is thinking kindness, generosity, and keeping that high level. Hope that's helpful.
That was awesome. And I'm over here taking notes, and that was a master class. I don't know if anybody else caught all that stuff. You mentioned vibration. You
Yes.
mentioned that it was high energy, and it was the opposite of fear. And the last thing you said was about thinking good
Yes.
things.
The only thing
So,
that we can control, although we'd like to control a lot of things, is what we think. And
mhm.
how frequently we think it over time in repetition based on that vibration will cause our results. So if you have a high vibration, you're feeling good, your heart's centered, right? You are generous to a fault, right? You're filled with gratitude. Then what happens is that matches your result, because you are then attracted, you actually attract to you who you're being. But Patricia is clapping. Thank you. So yeah, so that's the thing, and it's what you think, and most of us are in default mode, which is negative. So then the question is how do you develop an abundant mindset? And I'd love to hear from the other panelists how their clients or develop mindset, a wealth mindset, an abundant mindset for themselves.
Love that. That was good.
Thank
All
you.
right. So Patty, we'll go over to you. What are your thoughts on what Leslie shared?
I agree with Leslie on so many different things. We're vibing really well here. But it's our overall attitude, right? And our attitude really does affect our mindset about anything, right? With that, and what I want to point out is that our words that we use with ourselves, the choices that we use when we're talking about when it's in relation to abundance and how we look at that. I teach people that it is important for us to have our own definition of what wealth is to us, whether it be in relation to our financial health and wealth. What is that to you? What is abundance? Because abundance to me isn't necessarily abundance to everyone else that's here or any of the listeners, right? So we have to know what our level, where we will be happy with for that. So setting that first and having that in front of us first and foremost, and not compare ourselves with what everybody else has and what we think will make them. Guess what? It doesn't necessarily, just because they have that level of wealth, right, or abundance, does not mean that it makes them any more happy, right? So taking all those things into consideration, to me, and this is where, again, Leslie and I vibe so much, is because everything goes back to us in our mindset and our attitude towards something. And I believe that our mindset is the basis of keeping a positive mindset, is keeping our vibration as an individual at a certain level, right? And to me, you have to be intentional to make your vibrations higher, because life happens to every single one of us. We're barraged by negativity all the time. So we have to find those things that keep us in a certain space and guard that for ourselves. So
I love that. That was so good.
I could go on, but I know there's other people.
Yeah, we'll go over to Lynn, and then we'll go to Terry. I'm trying to mute. I hear like background, but I think it's good now. But we'll go to Lynn, and then Lynn, you'll pass it to Terry. So
Absolutely. Yeah. So when I think about abundance, what comes to my mind a lot is time. That's what it means to me. Is I just don't feel like I have an abundance. Just like Pat, being intentional and actions on my calendar, writing everything down, and being mindful of maybe what other people want to see from me, and writing that down really makes me see how much of an abundance of time I actually have to be able to work and exercise and give to my family. So really, it's just like everyone is saying, is be mindful and intentional in your actions, for what's important to you. Obviously, time is very important to me. I feel spread thin a lot. So I'm always looking for more time, and that's what I've realized that I need to do, is just be mindful of where my time is going. And to be mindful of that, I need to write it down, and schedule things around that's most important to me. So that's my thought of abundance and that's what's important to me when I think about abundance.
love it.
All right. Well, I think it's my turn then. Thank you, ladies, and thank you, LaChelle, for having us all on today. You know, I've been on your show before and talked about words because I wrote a book about the words we choose. So immediately that's where I go. And like the others, I see abundance as foundational or founded in gratitude. And so when we are grateful and real clear about what we're grateful for and have that clarity, then we recognize our abundance. And so I want to talk about a couple of words choices. So thinking of things in terms of what I get to do feeds my sense of abundance as opposed to what I have to do. And I also can contemplate what I need as opposed to what I want, and so what do I need? And then setting that intention clearly is what causes the abundance to come towards me, right? So it's a partnership and it's an energy exchange, the way that I see it. And so my go-to approach is to be centered and to sit with the intention of what it is that I need and be grateful for what it is I get to do. And that in turn breeds more abundance. More of what I need comes my way.
Love that. That was awesome. And you ladies are really sharing a lot of great things for everybody. I know a lot of people are saying they're just talking about managing their time better. So I love that. So we have Marla who has joined us, and tech issues, I tell you. So Marla, welcome to my world. It happens all the time, but please share your thoughts on abundance. We were just defining what it meant to us, or whatever insight that you want to give about it.
I've been listening the whole time, and I think you guys are right on target. I think abundance has to do with gratitude also, being grateful for everything you have. There's never too much. I'm grateful that I get up and I'm able to walk in the morning. It's, and that probably sounds little to some people, but there are so many things that you have to think about every day that you're grateful that you're able to do. And I love that. And you need to have plenty of what you actually need to get by in life. And it could make your life abundant, but you don't need all that excess around you to make yourself feel abundant and feel grateful for what you have.
I love that. And I think that's I love what Mistilei does in terms of minimalism, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna get there. But really, it's like it's added weight sometimes when you have a lot of stuff that prevents you from just, I was thinking that on my way here, I had to drop one of my daughters off at an acting gig. And so just driving through the country, seeing the trees and just realizing, they're not stressed. They just are being, right? And when we have a lot of stuff, we're trying to figure out how we're going to manage it, who's trying to take it. I mean, it's just a number of things that we kind of add on to ourselves. So, we talked about the difference with the scarcity versus abundance, but I was wondering if somebody could kind of give an example. I was talking in a room earlier and I was explaining to them that, what you are familiar with, you can recognize in other people. You could say, oh my gosh, I've been there. I wasn't managing my time right, or I'm bad at follow up or whatever, because you see that in yourself. But for people who are in a scarcity mindset and have never seen abundance, can you give like a contrasting example of something clearly so we can help those that don't know where we're at? Misty, you on mic. Did you want to?
Yeah, I was going to say I
that?
am the minimalist, so I can kind of give you some ideas about the versus abundance in it from a minimalist standpoint. I have a disabled adult son, and we live in about 200 square feet, but on 10 acres of just breathtaking land, and so that's my office is outside. So what my challenge was, I was coming from, and I wrote your name down, Lynn, about time, abundance being time, freedom, those kind of things. So the way I challenge myself to think past how do I flip that switch is to write a little story about the day after all of my imagined limitations are gone. So for Lynn, if she woke up and had all the time in the world, just write that in the present tense and be grateful for that moment, because your brain, I'm about to have a train that's going to go by. I created that, by the way. I wrote that in a story and now he's here. So you kind of go ahead and write that story, and you be grateful for that whole entire day, from the moment you woke up until the moment you go to bed, with all the time you've ever wanted. I'm going to mute so you guys don't have to hear the whole thing, but that's my example. Write as if you've already gotten the thing you wanted and be grateful.
I love that. I love that. And I love the train. I feel like I'm on your porch with you, girl. Okay. Go ahead, Leslie.
That is awesome. So, where I want to go is, and the thing that I want to be very clear about, like, one of the ways that we develop faith in ourselves is by setting goals that we want very much and achieving them. And each time we do that, we build a new belief in ourself, our ability, our deservability. It grows our confidence. Now, the reason that women in general have so much trouble with time and an overfilled plate, you want to consider, and since 2013, I've been working with women to learn to ask for what they deserve and get paid, figuring out the wage gap, and teaching them the principles of success in Think and Grow Rich, which is what men have used for 5,000 years. So the reason that all my clients, when they begin, and so many women are challenged by time and activities, is because for 5,000 years, while men were handling business, doing business and coming home, we were managing everything. We did everything for everyone. We gave up everything for our family. So when you are this way over the years and generations, through collective consciousness, we have a wonderful set of skills. The problem is that it clashes with the context of running a business. Like, for example, men speak in bullet points. We have to tell the whole story. Why do we tell the whole story? Because we're the nurturers, because we're fixing boo-boos, because we're making food. And men will say, I apologize, let me get that done. Women will say, I'm sorry, they'll cry, and they'll go on and on. There is a way, and it's all about taking everything off your plate except one goal every quarter and no more. You're going to do everything else, but you must stay hyper-focused on that thing you want for long enough through the repetition of your thought, thinking it in spaced, repetitive intervals. And one of the 12 laws of achievement is exactly what Misty talked about, is to write out what it is you want after you've already had it. So it's kind of like standing in the future in the present. The biggest problem is that all we need to do actually is find someone who knows how to help you set boundaries. And that is putting yourself, you are as important as your most valued customer. And on my calendar, I block time with my family and I don't change it. I'm not going to give it up for more money. There's your poverty and your lack and the opposite of abundance. When you will give up something that you've deemed as high value, your son's baseball game or whatever, and a client calls up and says, oh my God, Terry, I really need to see you right now. And you know she has the money. Who's going to win? Are you going to buckle and succumb to the fear of poverty and give up the time with your child or your family? If you do that enough, resentment builds, right? So the best thing to do is pick one goal every quarter, treat yourself and the time with your family, whatever it is you love to do, as you would a doctor's appointment and as you would with a client who is high paying. That will have you be open to an abundant mindset. You will realize, as I don't know who said it, Lynn, you know, time is what we're playing against. You never get it back. So you must be very clear about your actions and what you're doing. You have plenty of time, but I promise you, if you took everything off your plate that didn't have super high value to take you to one place, you would be shocked at how much time you actually have. We fill time with extraneous stuff. It doesn't build new beliefs. It doesn't build faith. It's what everybody does. So be different. And it's not easy. Listen, we're bombarded with thoughts all the time. You can only do this once in a while when you catch yourself. You're going to have thousands of thoughts. So just be patient. And when you see it, right? So nature abhors a vacuum, and your mind is not open waiting for you to drop something beautiful in it. It is automatically filled with negative things. Those are negative beliefs. So when you do something you've never done before, i.e., created a goal that you've achieved in 90 days, my clients have done 500 over 15 years, you build a new belief. So then what happens is when you get this wild idea and this thing that you want to do, you don't have the first thought was, well, I can't do that. I've never done that before. I've actually failed before and I'm really not smart enough. Let someone else. No, now you have a new belief or view of who you are and who you've been being, because you can do it. There's your abundance. There's your wealth. One thought at a time. And I apologize for going on and on. I'll be quiet.
I love that. You were on the roll, girl. Hey, I didn't.
Oh, well, I'm like Terry. We could talk from now until one thing, Terry, I wanted to bring up with Terry.
Yeah.
You know, there's a real distinction between want and need. And I've discovered that need has a very low vibration, and we're going to get the things we need. So that when you set a goal, set it for something you want very much, that'll make a difference for others, that'll impact the needs you'll take care of anyway. And to your point about words, Terry, need is a bad word, but is a bad word. Just is a bad word. All these words, small is a bad word. And one thing I wrote down here was, who was it that said we shouldn't compare ourselves to other people? Yes, that is the law of relativity. And one of the things I teach are the universal laws. And that law says nothing has any value until you compare it to something else. So we don't need to compare ourselves to anybody else. There's no need for it because we're different. So that will help you with a positive attitude. And now I'm done.
I love that. All right, we're going to go to you, Terry.
Please.
Because with the words, I love that. So tell us, how can we transform that mindset? What are, Leslie alluded to some of the words, but what are some of the words that we should start using in our vocabulary that can move us forward?
Yeah, I actually almost thought Leslie was going to go there at the very end, but not this time when you stopped, but a few minutes ago. And I thought you were going to go to that Henry Ford place. Henry Ford, if the quote about for as long as you believe you can't, you're right. Whether you believe you can't or you can, you're right. Either way, right? So keeping that positive mindset. And I agree with enough and just and all those words are all minimizers that serve no purpose. What I want to focus on is that, and we've all been saying this in different ways, is that our human nature is that we're going to focus on what we don't have or what isn't happening or what we didn't get to on the calendar and all the negative things that, kind of keep us motivated and going, oh, I got to get to that. I got to get to that. So my job, but particularly with my clients and when I'm out speaking, is a focus on the positive. So I start every interaction saying, so here are the words. What's a win? What can we celebrate? What are you most proud of? And so it's not enough that I start every interaction with my clients that way. We need to be asking ourselves that every day, multiple times in the day. What's a win? What am I most proud of? What did I accomplish today, as opposed to what I didn't get to today? And so keeping that focus on the positive is, again, what pulls in all that is coming your way, because you've created that space, you've opened up space with that focus on the positive. So I can't say enough about that. A meditative moment here and there. I'm a big fan of habit stacking. So when you're brushing your teeth in the morning, you're thinking about all that is positive that will transpire in your day. When you're brushing at night, you're thinking about, from a place of gratitude, all that went well today and what you did accomplish. What value did you bring? So get really fixating on that. Someone said in the comments about focusing much on our values and staying in that place. You got to be clear about what they are in the first place. And then you can create that gratitude for when you are aligned with your values. So that's a lot of words to pull it all together in a positive vein.
Love that. Love that. So Marla, I noticed that you wanted to share. So please share what's coming up for you.
What's coming up is the power of positivity. You could ask my friends and family. I always say have the power of positivity. I have kids that have graduated from college who have jobs and are moving, and what should I do? They always have to stay positive because you don't know what's going to happen, but you're in the right place. I also very much believe that we can journal if you want, but have a visualization. Like you're setting your goals, let's visualize. What am I going to look like when I meet that goal? How am I going to help somebody through whatever it is? Because I'm a giving person. If you feel like you're a giving person, can you visualize what you're doing to give to that next person? Which I think is really important. And affirmations. We didn't really talk about affirmations. And I think if you have some affirmations that you can do every day, and do it when you wake up, do it when you're going to sleep, do it before you're going to watch a TV show. I have some really big affirmations that I'm working on, and I'm just starting to post them around because I need to do a lot of things, and I need a reminder everywhere. Not only when you're brushing your teeth, but when you look up and you're sitting at your computer, whatever it is. Those affirmations are really important.
Yeah. So can you share how we should set those affirmations up? Because a lot of people talk about affirmations and, I've heard different things. It should be in the present tense or the future tense or certain things. So explain for us what your affirmations look like.
Okay. So one of my affirmations is I am going to heal as completely as possible by doing the MS Gym every day. I will walk alone without a device by the end of 2023. That's one of them. Another one is I will earn $1 million by the end of 2023 by helping businesses stay in business. And I'm very focused on that, and I'm doing it every day, slowly making my inroads into that. And it just works for you.
Love that. That's good stuff.
You know,
All
can
right.
I say, so I want to say something here about what Marla just said. This is so good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now and then doesn't work. It's consistency in spaced, repetitive intervals over time. The mama with 15 children, you only need to watch one toddler at supper time who knows the chocolate chip cookies are on top of the refrigerator, who doesn't care that he's or she is being told, don't climb up on the cabinet. As you're telling them don't, they're going like this and they're climbing anyway. They don't care. They're hell-bent on the cookie. They don't care if they get a spanking. They don't even care if they fall. And remember, for those of you who are older, in June every year, we would get the Sears Roebuck catalog. And we would pick out the toy we wanted for Christmas. This is a long time ago, but children do it now. I wanted skates one year. I started seeing skates everywhere. I never let my parents not see the skates. I pointed them out. They were showing up everywhere. And wasn't I surprised at Christmas time when the skates were under the tree? Because what I had done and what we do, the way you achieve and manifest, is in spaced, consistent intervals over time at a very high vibration. And that is how you create a new belief. So to Marla's point, doing it every day, and you can't know how. So Marla doesn't know how she's going to make that million. If she knew how, she would have already done it. So the brilliance of what she said here is like super profound in my work. Be consistent. Your results will be predictable. And nobody wants haphazard or sporadic results. That we want predictable. We want to know how much we're going to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if Marla had said, I want to make $1 million by the end of June, the only way I know she can do that is to rob a bank. And that's not okay. You can't violate rights there, right? But that is the key. The key to building any kind of mindset. One other thing I wanted to share really quickly when attitude, was that you, Terry, who brought up attitude? Who brought up attitude? Yeah, it's 3 things. And so when my mother used to say to me, Leslie, change your attitude and you'll get a better result. What the heck? Attitude is what you're thinking predominantly. Then it's the vibration or what you're feeling. And then it's the action you take in that mindset. So it's really critical that when you want to change your attitude, or if you feel crappy, look at what you're thinking about. What are you thinking about the most? Are you angry? Are you mad? Or are you thinking about generosity, etc.? You got a smart panel here.
Love that. Love that. I mean, you guys are bringing up some great points, and I'm hoping people are taking notes. We have a lot of conversation about this topic, and Kelly Gilberry is on, and he is an author. He says, kids never quit. Think like a baby. I was in a room with him last week, I believe, and he was saying that massive action is taking baby steps, right? Because the baby falls and keeps on getting back up. And so, you know, a lot of people think, oh, I'm taking massive action. I'm going to do this big, huge thing. And I just liken it to, you know, you're saying you're going to work out, you're going to go to the gym, you bench press 300 pounds, and then you're done for the whole year because you've hurt yourself or whatever. You didn't build up something consistent that you can maintain. So taking those baby steps is good. All right. So Patty and Lynn, we haven't heard from you guys. So over to you, Patty. What are your thoughts?
Oh my goodness. Okay, ladies.
So
I love that we're all vibing very much in the same in the same area here. As a goal achievement strategist, I help people get from where they're currently finding themselves to where they want to be in both life or business. And it all has to do with the system that I've created for getting their dreams and goals out of their hearts and minds and into their own 3-ring binder here, right? And then from that, and again, this is where I talked about everybody has to know what success and abundance and wealth is to them, so I teach those things and teach boundaries. But another thing that I teach, and LaChelle knows this, because I teach people how to budget their time, their money, and their energy. And we were just talking about time being so important, right? That I actually teach people how to put themselves first and not feel guilty about it. And what is that? What is it about us putting ourselves first? Because women have a difficult time doing that more so than men. But for us to be able to do that, what are the things that we need to do for self-care and things to raise our vibration and keep doing that and being consistent about those things, right? Because that's going to affect our mindset, which is going to affect how we are able to be consistent and achieve things, right? It all comes together. So LaChelle, actually, I have to share this, that my Design Your Destiny planning system, that the mother of 15 children said, hey, it all makes sense, right? She even gave me an endorsement for the back of the book. So, and it is, I talk in there about the importance of us being the gratitude and waking up having gratitude and how we set ourselves up for abundance for that day. And, from that, I'll just share anything that might be helpful here for anyone listening. Is when I teach people that in the beginning of the day, when you're starting for your daily planning, how you want your day to become more successful, right? For you to have a better result at the end of the day, is if you're looking at who you're going to be meeting with that day and that conversation you're going to be having with that individual. Take a step back and remember how you left that last conversation that you had with them. Give it a rating on a scale of 0 to 10. When you left that, how did you leave feeling that situation and that conversation with them? When you're approaching the day that you're having that, you want to think about that and say, hey, I want to be leaving that conversation feeling at least that level or higher. And higher vibration from that. And that will help you have your days come out becoming more successful, more productive. And it helps you again with your vibration and your mindset. So that's a thing to help create abundance. And another thing I wanted to share is I teach people, again, the words that because I talked about it earlier, I teach people about the importance of the words that we use with ourselves. And so one of the things that I do is I am are the two most, those are the two most powerful words that we can use with ourselves. So I do something with people and I say, let's go through the alphabet and you choose 3 words that have a positive, description of yourself. Go through the alphabet. The tricky ones are X, Y, and Z. Okay. But go through them and write them down and you practice them in the mirror. Practice them, have them on your refrigerator, have them on your bathroom mirror, put them on your phone and record yourself saying them to yourself. So let's all do one. You guys all choose a positive word that has something to do with you saying, I am A. Okay. So I'll go first and I'll just say, I am adorable. Okay. You guys do one.
I am kind.
Okay. Who's next? Somebody do one.
I am beautiful.
There you go. There.
I am courageous.
Yes.
I am enthusiastic about being here.
All right. Okay,
I'm going to throw one in at the end. My favorite one is just I am. And I know just is not what we like. Simplified to I am.
Enough. You
everything
are
I need to be. I don't need to put another word after it.
Right.
I am. So whenever I'm in that mood where the last word doesn't want to come out, I can just come back and fall in love with I am again. That's my favorite.
And that raises your vibration. To Tara's point, I am and I will are much better. Typically, what I hear from women is, I'll try. You know, Yoda said, there is no such thing as try. You're either doing it or you're not doing it. And you ladies know about women's groups and PTA and all that. There's always this core of people that end up showing up, doing all the work. And everybody says, oh, I'll be there, I'll try. Well, if you don't show up and all you say is, I'll try, nobody can count on you. You're maybe thinking, well, the other people, and I've done this myself, everybody else will bring food. I don't need to. I'll try, right? But then you build a persona of not being counted on. So then if you have an emergency, are you going to call me in the middle of the night? No, because I'll only try to pick you up and help you. So to the point is, I am and I will. And we never use sorry. It's the worst word a woman can use. I apologize. Thank you for being patient. You'll never hear a man saying to their boss, I'm sorry. Let me tell you why it happened, and it'll never happen again. No, a man is going to say, thank you for pointing that out. Let me make it right for you. And so there are behaviors that we have, this talking incessantly, wiggling and jiggling. We do not match the context of 21st century business. There are skills we must learn. And what happens is people aren't listening to women. This is men and women leaders, because if you clash with any context with enough points, people's listening turn off and they don't even know it. So if you're a woman in a networking who hugs, who has cleavage, wears a lot of jewelry, wiggles and jiggles, tells the whole story until people's eyes glaze over, you're doing who you've always been. But it does not work in business. So just become aware, pick out one, and to whoever's point it is, do it over and over and over again until you notice people listening, until it's automatic for you. I actually charge some of my clients $10 every time they use the word sorry. It only takes a few until you modify that habit. Sorry is a very low vibration word. And in the South, sorriness is the worst you could possibly be. So never use that word, ever use sorry.
Wow, that's actually really funny, because if you come to Canada, I'm going to tell you right now that if you bump into anybody, they'll be like, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I swear, the entire
Men
country.
too? Men,
Yeah, it's
Men
considered
too.
a
Men
cultural
too.
politeness.
It's a cultural politeness. Everybody says it. So
you know what else?
which is
The
quite
French
funny.
Canadian men are much sexier than the men in the United States. I can promise you that. They're much better lovers. And I don't know who's listening, but you guys in the US, get yourself to Canada and learn how to make love, and then come back here and do it right.
Okay, leave my
Wow.
US guys alone. I'm happy with what we got here. That's your opinion. You leave my
It is.
Can I
It is
add
my.
something
It's
to
my
the
point of view, which is correct, as is yours.
I'd like to add something to the mix, ladies, that none
Absolutely.
of us have touched on, and I want, and I just feel like because it means so much to me, is that if you
did we lose you? Oh, I think we've the internet is being really strange today. I don't know what's going on with it. So, Patricia, when you
yes,
get back,
there we go.
I'm back.
You go. You're back.
Yes.
Okay.
So our faith, our faith in God, the higher power, whatever your belief is, when you connect that to everything that your mindset, your intention, your, what you are going after, and having a faith and belief in yourself that you are worthy, that you are capable, and that thing, there is a plan for us, right? And you can have, and God helps those who help themselves and learn how to use. Every single one of us have our own unique talents and gifts, right? So when we learn to know our purpose and utilize them to help ourselves and help others, there's no way that you're not going to have some abundance in your life.
Wow. Very, very well said. Very well said, Patricia. So I just like to go around the room and just ask to share your final thoughts. And one of the questions I have is, how do you get yourself into that alignment or that emotion? As someone who is a transformational coach, it's all about the emotion. How do you get yourself in that alignment or emotion of abundance? So if you'd like to go around the room, we can start with Lynn. If you're there, Lynn. Nope. All right. How about Marla? Today the internet is fine.
Hi. It is fun. I couldn't get on because our internet went down. I think in terms of emotions, that you have to feel appreciative of everything that you have and grateful. Emotionally, you have to have that as part of moving forward with abundance.
Very well said. Go ahead, Lynn. I think we found you there.
Yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
the whole time that I'm listening to everyone speak, it just keeps bringing me back to being mindful and intentional in your actions. I really feel strongly about living my life intentionally, and that's what I try to teach people that I help. So everything that we're talking about just brings me back to that. I think that's important to go through our day remembering, is try to be mindful and be intentional with what you're doing.
Very nicely said. Over to you, Patricia. Final thoughts?
Yes. I choose to live my life purposely, joyfully, and gratefully. And to me, it all, to those, if you drew 3 circles where they meet in the middle, that's that sweet spot. And that's where I choose to live. And I want to help people learn how to live that same way. And for me, it is through prayer and meditation. That's what keeps me grounded, because again, the gratefulness is all part of who I am. And, that's just the way that I live.
Absolutely. Wonderfully said as well. Leslie, over to you.
There's a lesson in every down, there's an up. So I guess for me, what gets me into that mindset is realizing that there are everyday miracles, that what I want is already on its way to me. So I'm kind of watchful for people and opportunities that show up that seem like a coincidence. They are not coincidences. So I am constantly being gifted based on the seeds that I've planted. And so that's really all I have to do, is remind myself to look up, because there are everyday miracles. They're all here, but we miss them. So I don't want to miss any.
Wow.
I was looking up.
Very nicely said.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'd like to go around the room again, and just if you could share how we can get hold of you, what places on social media platforms or events. We'll start with you, Lynn Martin. Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. I'm on LinkedIn, and also you can find me through my website. It's called applywithintention.com.
Oh, thank you. Marla, over to you.
Yes, I'm in LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. Those are the best places right now to find me.
All right. Patricia, over to you. Oh, have we lost? This internet is fun today, isn't it?
Patricia, you're muted.
There we
go.
So I put my digital business card link in the chat for anybody who is in there. I'm on all social media. LinkedIn, Facebook. My show is on JD3 TV network that airs on Roku. It streams on Roku and Apple TV. So, you know, people can find me everywhere. My books are all on Amazon. And
Nice.
yes.
Thank you. And over to you, Leslie. Go ahead.
Best place is to find me on LinkedIn, and Friday mornings I have an audio room on the 12 lessons in Think and Grow Rich. And in a few weeks, I'm going to turn it into same time, 11 on Fridays, alive, right? And so I'm very focused since 2013 when I learned about the wage gap on teaching women how to leverage the principles of success to be successful in 21st century business. And I've been doing this for 15 years and it's working. They're starting every day to ask, to have the confidence. So you can come to the audio room at 11 o'clock Eastern on Fridays, or just find me on LinkedIn. L Flowers is the end of my URL. Love to get to know you.
Oh, I think LaChelle's back for this again. That's wonderful.
I loved it. I was watching in the green room, I guess I'll call it. It's crazy with the internet, but this has been such a great conversation. Again, I hope everybody was taking notes to these great comments that everybody was making, because I tell you, it has just been, you have to be intentional about a lot of the things that you want to change. They just don't happen. It's not like the wind blowing. You really have to put a line in the sand. So you guys have given us so many nuggets and applicable ways that we can take action today. And that's really, what I got out of this. I thought it was amazing. And I encourage everybody. We had several people in the comments. They had great points that they were making as well, but reach out to each other. This is just an opportunity to get the conversation going. Leslie has a platform. She has a great room. Join her room, connect, get offline, and take this conversation further. So thank you guys so much for being here today. Awesome. Well,
thank you for having us. Have a great day.
You are so welcome. Thank you guys so much. And I mean, again, I am just excited about being able to have women, especially, who are able to help us to raise that vibration. A lot of these things we are kind of used to. It's the way that it's always been done, but empowering ourselves. I mean, I just thought that was awesome. So what final thoughts do you have, Misty?
I enjoyed everything that they said. I wrote down also, like you said, pages and pages of notes. So for me, the shortest version for abundance is being grateful for the life I created. Being grateful today for the life I've already created. Tomorrow, I'll need to be grateful again tomorrow for the life. And that might include a broken sink or a flat tire. But I'm super grateful that I have a car that can have a flat tire and I have a home that can have a sink. So to me, gratitude, and I want to come, every woman here talked about gratitude, is the cover crop. You can pull weeds once a year and it's a nightmare, or every day you can pluck one of those out and then put a cover crop down. And that gratitude just keeps those weeds from being able to take over, which start to choke us out, making us feel like we don't have time, we don't have money. We have every single thing we have. We created this. So that to me is the absolute definition of abundance. It's just getting grateful for the life I created right this minute. And then the next minute is easier. And just repeating that every minute, like a sobriety situation, one moment at a time. Sometimes it's one second at a time, like one more word out of your mouth at a time, but being grateful for that sweet baby that's saying those words to you. So that's my final thing, is just find a way, no matter how deep you have to dig, to be grateful for this exact moment in time. Even if it feels like it's a frustration, it may be a collaboration with your future that you don't know about yet.
I love that, and just also thinking about, just being grateful for what is, even the pause, right? I just remember feeling like it was too quiet. You always have to say something, but just being able to be at peace and to just rest and soak it all in. I think sometimes we don't get a chance to even feel what a certain emotion feels like because we're so busy rushing to the next thing, but being able to breathe and take a pause, I think that's awesome. So what about you, Raschell? What are your thoughts?
Oh, there's so many on this, but I think I one thing that I wanted to share, but with my internet, it was kind of crazy today. And this was actually from a very close dear friend of mine. He said what they used to do, he's from Ghana, and he said people who wanted to have abundance, and at the time, maybe they didn't have it, they were feeling like they needed more, they would take a small amount of money, they would break it into change, and they would go around and they would give it away with no intention of ever seeing it again, with no, no connection to it at all, just letting it go, helping people as they went. And the universe, God, whoever you believe in, would bring it back to them tenfold. And so this is something I always try to share with my children, is that giving can be given in so many different ways. It doesn't have to be money. It can be lending that helpful hand. It can be giving someone a car ride. It can be making some fresh bread one morning for someone and giving it to the family just because you're thinking of them. That is abundance. And when you give it to other people, the universe, God, gives it back to you in so many different ways. So that is my final thought on that.
Love that. So, I had so many takeaways. I think also just going back to what you're thinking, we can control what we think. So really taking that time to think about the things that are going to move you forward with whatever your goal is. Think about that. If your goal is to public speak, well, think about how you're going to public speak. A lot of times we think about how we're not going to public speak. It's like, oh my gosh, I want to do this, but I don't have any money. We're thinking about all this other stuff instead of the thing that we need to be thinking about. So I think there's so much power in how we think, and we really minimize that because what you think is what you start talking about, right? So if I'm thinking about the negative things, I start talking about them, and then they start popping up, and and just so I thought that was really good. So
that is so true.
And about the repetition, what you're talking about, what you think, if something, a little quick exercise, go back and look at your last 2 journals. Are there stories in there you're still repeating? That is a really great accountability. So that's a great, abundance is also an accountability project, because you are only going to get to abundance if you're honest with yourself about the life you're creating. Because like you said, we already have what we have. We are here. It is today. It is now. So I like that you said that. And then just watching that moment, just watching your words, journaling so that you can hold yourself accountable to your words. Because sometimes they come out and we forget what we just said because we said something that was harmful, like the ladies were talking about on the show, but we didn't catch it because we didn't write it down.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Now, so what do you guys have coming up for the week?
For me, this week, I think it's kind of a quiet week for me. Just needed.
That's
very
good.
nice.
Okay.
Not a quiet week here. We are in massive build out in the campground, and it's very exciting. So I moved into the small cabin so we can finish out our big building. So we'll be hopefully having some retreat dates scheduled very soon. And then this week on my Facebook Campground TBD publishing page and on my quantum writing page, I'll be doing self-publishing, supporting self-publishing. So for authors who have published a book, self-published a book, I want to get them on and just have a platform for us to kind of keep those books out in society, because sometimes they kind of they get published and then they go to sleep. So I want to make sure that I keep that platform open. So we started that yesterday or day before yesterday. So
nice.
And I'll be getting with both of you about that at some point.
And what about you, Michelle?
Me, I just have had some audio rooms. My internet is acting crazy. So
it's crazy. It is.
I'm like, I don't even know if you guys can hear me or what, but it's pretty much a quiet week. I'm going to be going next week to Virginia for the pancreatic cancer walk. But other than that, it's just, getting ready for that, which is a whole thing. Who's going to watch the kids, who's picking them up from school, that kind of stuff. So
that's enough.
Love it. Well, we want to thank you guys again for watching. We had Mary, we had Kelly, we had Amber, we had Paul. Shashiana. We just thank JR, I think was watching earlier, Raquel, Mary, Elizabeth. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And again, remember to reach out, keep this conversation going, because it definitely is a great one. It is one that can change your life. It could be life changing. So that is all we have for this week. So we wish you guys a wonderful day, and remember to think in abundance. Bye, everybody.